What's up YouTube? For tonight's video, we have a full no items Pokemon team. My goodness, this was a very difficult team. So obviously I had to use Pokemon with no items. So I thought, well, I can use a couple of moves like acrobatics and things like that, but I wanted to think up some other like little strategies I could actually benefit from not having an item, or use moves that had things to do with items as well. So I thought about it and I come up with a pretty interesting team. It wasn't the greatest team, it was very difficult to use, but I had some fun battles. So I actually thought of like moves outside of acrobatics, as I said, and like moves like, you know, Covet and things like that. Those are the sort of moves I was going for. Anyways, this was a battle on my chat against Nacho. So we have a Froakie lead. I'm going to go for the Covet and taking the Froakie out in one shot, stealing its life orb. So that was a nice little snag there. Now we have the Alola Golem coming out. So on this amazing set, I had Fling, Knock Off, all of these moves to do with items. So Knock Off knocks off an item, Covet steals an item, I had Fling, like to fling an item, and I also had Acrobatics, which benefited from not having an item. So they were all the moves I had on the Ambipom. So swapping out my Ambipom anyway, I don't really like this matchup at all, and going into Driftblim. Now this is going to be a special echoed voice Alola Golem, and man, that hits me so hard, almost taking me out. So Driftblim was a physical sweeper with acrobatics. I had Destiny Bot on this one too, just to help out, and I also had Trick on this, because Trick is another a move to do with items. So it's going to take me out with the Echo Voice. That's going to bury my Driftblim, but it's going to take out the Alola Golem at the same time, which is nice. Now this is the, I think I've got 4 videos to narrate still, and I've done all the videos while I'm away on holiday. Man, I'm feeling really tired, but I'm going to keep pushing forward and doing it. So now we have the Garbodor coming out, and the best thing I do was go for the Covet against this thing. Garbodor is actually going to swap out, and now we have the Alola Persian coming in, which obviously has fur coat, so it's not going to do too much. I actually went for the Fling and flung the Life Orb at it. So the idea is to fling the items away, grab the items, fling them away, then steal more items. So now I'm going to go for the Covet, and I was like, I wonder what item this thing has. So it does lots of damage, considering I actually get a Rocky Helmet. Now the Alolan Persian is going to go for the Foul Play. That's going to be enough to take out my Ambipom. However, I'm going to do some damage to it because I stole the Rocky Helmet from the Alola Persian, so that's nice. Ambipom was pretty dang good on this team. Probably one of the best Pokemon. I'd say the best Pokemon I had. So now swapping in Behemoth. Now this really benefited from its ability and some other things. So I had Trick on this Trick Room. I also had Psychic and Signal Beam. I had Synchronize the ability too. So they're going to swap out their Alolan Persian. They're worrying about the Signal Beam, and obviously they're going to go into their Garbodor. So I've got Psychic on this set too. This was more of a filler Pokemon. The others were like a lot more based around the no items theme. I actually really wanted to bring a Magician Pokemon in there, but unfortunately I ran out of time, so I couldn't use that. But Magician is probably the only like Pokemon, other like ability that I could have used on this team. So I had Embargo as a move on this team, which I thought was really cool, because what Embargo does actually stops the item use, which is a very rare move to see. Highly situational, and it's got a really badass animation too. I like it. So now we have the Alola Persian coming in. It's going to go for the Parting Shot, and that's going to drop my stats and swap out the Alolan Persian. So this is really annoying. I really want to get rid of this Pokemon. It's bulky, annoying. I do have the Signal Beam. I knew that's going to be enough to take it out, but I just had to land the damn move. So now Stantler's going to come in and use its Intimidate ability on me. I'm going to go for the Signal Beam. Now, since I don't have Analytic, it's not going to do as much, obviously, when I use it, but it still does a little bit of damage. So swapping out the Behemoth, and I'm going to go into my Swoobat. Now, this was the only Pokemon with an item, and before anyone gets, triggered in the comment section, the ability on this Mon was Klutz, so I actually couldn't make use of the item at all, but I had a strategy right. Now, there's a special glitch that actually happens in this battle. It's an amazing glitch, and I'll show you right now. So I'm going to go for the trick right. I'm tricking the Stantler, the Choice Specs. Now, Stantler actually, I get an Adrenaline Orb. Stantler goes for the skill swap. Now, Stantler actually has Klutz now, and it's skill swap me. Now, this actually activates a special glitch called the Choice Item Glitch. And actually sort of like tricks the game, or like confuses the game into thinking it's still locked into the item. So if the Stantler actually uses any other moves than Skill Swap, it can actually use any other move. But if it does use any other move than Skill Swap, all the moves will fail. As you can see, up roll fails. Man, that's crazy. Like, that's a crazy glitch. You can actually, like, research that one on Boba Peter and such. It's called the, I already mentioned the name of the glitch before, but it's really crazy, and Klutz will actually mention it too. So this was a Swagger Psych Up Acrobatics Swoobat set with Trick and Choice Specs. Obviously, if I could get one of my other Pokemon, I could trick like the Choice Spec to another Pokemon, and then one of my other Pokemon that already knew Trick could trick the item back. So technically, I didn't have the item, or I couldn't make use of the item until one of my other Pokemon got it. I thought that was a nice little twist on this team, considering I couldn't make use of it. So anyway, we have the Furfrou coming in. It's going to paralyze me. Swoobat really cannot do too much to this at all. So I've got to swap in the big bad Behemoth. So I've got Psychic on this set. That's the best I can possibly do. It's going to go be a special Furfrou set. So it's going to go for Charge Beam, not doing too much to me. So I've got a max health, max special attack Behemoth. It's very good. The Swoobat was max speed, max attack. The Drifloon was also max speed, max attack, and also the Amber Bomb as well. So it was very difficult with the EVs on this team, especially. Anyway, so the Furfrou is going to go for a Thunder Wave. I actually get the Synchronize, which is nice. So now I can go for the Signal Beam. And I was actually trying to get the Parafusion on that. So that was the idea. So the Furfrou is going to get paralyzed. I'm going to go for Signal Beam again. I was like, please get the Confusion. This would be so funny. Unplanned like Parafusion. And I get it, which is hype. So not only does I do some nice damage, I get the Parafusion on the Furfrou, making it like a lower chance for it to attack. And it hits Stealth and Confusion. Now Behemoth's going to go for the Signal Beam and take out the Furfrou. Man, that was really lucky. So Furfrou's down, and that's nice. We all know that crit matter too. So things are going nicely at the moment. I've knocked out actually half the team. So now we have the Stantler coming in. I can go for Psychic against this thing. Or I was thinking maybe it's got Retaliate or something. That could be bad. So let's swapping out my Behemoth and going into my Swoobat. I already seen this Pokemon. I was like, I want to try and forget this, this strategy going again. However, it's going to go for a Specs Shadow Ball, and man, I'm not going to leave that one. So if you remembered earlier on, I actually did trick the Stantler at Choice Specs, man. It was really cool to see that glitch too. You don't see that one happening too often. And the funny thing is, they actually activated the glitch themselves. So now swapping in Farfetch, they are choice locked into Shadow Ball. Obviously, they don't want to swap out at all. I only go for the Agility. So Farfetch has Acrobatics as its main attack. It's got Acrobatics, Tailwind. I think that's all I had on this set to try and make use of the no item team. So now we have the Persian coming back in. So the last move is work up to boost the power of my Acrobatics. So working things up and boosting my attack. Obviously, this thing is going to be able to tank my attacks, but I thought I might as well get some damage off it anyway. So going for Acrobatics, I'm powered up because I got no item. Unfortunately, Persian is going to be able to tank that and use Foul Play. Since I'm a very physical Farfetch, and I've also got a +1 attack, that is going to one-shot me, unfortunately. So basically, I'd say the best Pokemon on the team at the moment was the Alolan Persian. That was going to be the most strife. So I was thinking I could go for the Signal Beam here, or I could go for the Psychic, expecting the Garbodor swap in. So, but however, the Alolan Persian is going to go Rest. It's going to be a bulky Rest set. Now, it doesn't actually have Chester Berries. It's like, okay, it's going to be obviously a Sleep Talk Rest set. So I'm going to set up the Trick Room. Now that's going to make my Behemoth go first. I get paralyzed, which sucks. Now the Alolan Persian is going to be fast sleep, but obviously it didn't have Chester Berries, so obviously there was a 100% chance, basically a 100% chance that it had Sleep Talk. And now it's going to go for the Parting Shot. So that was pretty lucky. It dropped my stats and I was able to swap out, and it didn't land Rest on Sleep Talk, which I always do. So Alolan Persian is going to swap out. There's either only Stantler or Garbodor to come in, and interestingly, the Stantler comes in. So I thought, well, I don't have any, I was like, I can't swap anything into this Stantler. I'm just going to have to stay in and go for the Psychic. Unfortunately, I get paralyzed. Now the Stantler is going to go for a boosted Shadow Ball with the Choice Specs. Man, that does a lot of damage to me. I only actually lived that one due to max health. So now Behemoth's going to go for the Psychic, and that's going to do some really nice damage to Stantler. Nearly taking it out, but not quite. I would have taken out if I didn't get paralyzed the first turn, but Behemoth is down. Unfortunately, man, I'm quite salty about that. So I've only got one more Pokemon left, and the Pokemon is the Smeargle. I had to use Smeargle on this team, and I had to go quite a fun set too. So Stantler is nearly down. It's going to go, obviously it can't do anything. It's locked into Shadow Ball. Now, this was crazy. So going for the conversion, which is actually going to convert me into a Dark type. The move I converted to was from Thief. So I thought Thief would be good. move to use, because that's got to do with this team too. It's got to do with items. It was difficult just giving them all acrobatics. Like, I wanted to make things really cool and using all the moves to do with items. So the idea is to go the belly drum up, the conversion, and then I could go start sweeping with Technician, Thief, Stab. So now the Garbodor is going to swap in. It's already taken prior damage before, so I went for the belly drum on the swap. I was like, this is good. The only thing is, the Garbodor actually will probably be able to live this one, even with +6 in attack and stab. I was hoping that I could take it out in one, but I wasn't sure what the EVs were on this. So going for the Thief, and that is enough to take out the Garbodor and after Mastery, but I've got enough health to actually live that. So that's awesome. Nothing like taking a Garbodor out with Thief. So I actually still, it's Aquaworth Berry, but unfortunately that's not going to activate, which really, really sucks. So now the Persian is going to come in. It's asleep. I'm going to go for the Thief. And it does nothing, unfortunately. It's very, very bulky with Fur Coat, and also it's a dark type too, so it's going to resist it. So I'm hoping I can get some Thieves off before this thing wakes up, and it's going to get a classic Pimpnite Sleep Talk Rest. So now I can get going for the Thief against the Alolan Persian. Man, even with that +6 and all the resistances, it's still like a 6-hit KO. It's going to wake up and go for foul play and take me out. But man, that was a really good battle. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. We got to see a really cool glitch in that one too, which is, it's good. It's the thing is, it's great seeing new things. So now we have another battle. I actually versed this team earlier on, but I actually got to see a lot more of these Pokemon's movesets, which is interesting. So man, this is probably one of the funniest first turns I've seen in a long while. So get this right. I've got my Ambipom with Corvette, right? So I went for the Corvette. Obviously, Corvette is a normal type move. It steals the item, right? It lived on like 1 health. I steal the Black Sludge. Then it goes for the trick. So what happens, right? It was actually going to trick me a Black Sludge, but it ended up getting its item back and giving itself a Black Sludge, and then it KOs itself with a Black Sludge. What the fuck? Oh, man. Insert Black Man reaction. Man, that was beautiful. So now we have the Primate coming in. Can't believe that just happened. So now I'm going to go for the Acrobatics, and that's going to do a lot of damage to the Primate, taking it out in one shot. So a very, very good start from the Ambipom. Man, that Purloin got absolutely roasted. So now we have the Vaporeon coming in again, which is a very, very bulky set. We've seen this one earlier. So I'm going to go for the Corvette, which once again is my best move. Doing lots of damage too, and I steal the leftovers, which is really cool. So now the Vaporeon's going to go for the Scald, doing pretty nice damage to me, and it burns me, unfortunately. That would have been really good if I didn't get the burn. So I've got the leftovers recovery, thank goodness for that. I still obviously wasn't going to be enough to actually live the Scald, so that sucked. Now going for the Fling, so flinging the leftovers at the Vaporeon, and that's obviously not going to do too much. Now the Vaporeon is going to go for the Wish, so I wish it didn't do that. Now, the best I can do here is go for the Knockoff, which it doesn't have an item. I've got Corvette. There's really nothing I can really do. There's no point in me swapping out. So I'm just going for Corvette. That's the best I can possibly do. So now Vaporeon is going to go for the Scald, and that's going to be enough to take out my Ambipom. Ambipom did a solid job. I wish it didn't get burned there, but that's how it was. So the Vaporeon gets back, oh my goodness, all of its health. So we have the Swoobat. Now I was hoping the Vaporeon would stay in so I could trick at the Choice Specs with Klutz, right? But it didn't. It swapped out. I was like, bugger. That's probably going to be one of my, probably tiniest chances to actually take that thing out. Now, the Jinx comes in. I'm going to actually trick at the item, the Choice Specs. So now, it gets the Choice Specs, and I get a Destiny. No, what the fuck? So anyway, I'm going to go for the Swagger on the Jinx. Now, I need to get some attack boosts on this Jinx, like Psych them up, and then go for the Acrobatics. So we've seen this Jinx the other time. It was that Max Health, Max Defense Jinx. Remember that one, guys? Anyway, it's going to go for a Lick. I'm like, oh, man, it's got Lick. That does so much damage to me. It's a 2-hit KO on my Swoobat. I'm like, damn, son, I've got to go for Psych Up. I've got to hope that this Jinx actually hits itself in Confusion. Then I can go for the Acrobatics after. Jinx snaps out of Confusion and takes me out with a Lick. Oh, man, I've always wanted to get KO'd by a Lick Jinx. That was a 2-hit KO. That was absolutely brutal. So my oh, man. Just thinking back to the first turn and that, the Liepard and then the Lick Jinx. So swapping in my Smeargle, I thought this would be nice. So I could go for the Belly Drum and go for the Thief, so I could get that Choice Space. Now the whole Samurott comes in. I'm going to go for the. I'm trying not to laugh at that. What happened before? So I'm going to turn myself into a Dark type. Now this was the I've got the Spore on this. Obviously I put the opponent to sleep. Then I could go for the Belly Drum and get those +6 Thieves going. Now, I was hoping something, like I was actually hoping throughout all these battles I actually could thief a choice band. That would be absolutely amazing, but it never actually happened. The best I got, I think, was a choice scarf. I think I got a choice specs once too. Like those are the only choice items that I actually got. So nothing like really amazing I was able to steal with my Smeargle. But man, I was just hoping for that choice band. That'd be amazing. So going for the thief on the Samurai, almost takes it out. I actually thief the scope lens. It wakes up and uses Fury Cutter. Oh, and it takes me out. What is this, Venusaur? So it takes me out with the Fury Cutter, man. The only time Fury Cutter actually comes in handy is when I change myself to a Dark type. Oh, man. That, like, there was so many situational things that happened here. So swapping in my Drifloon, it's going to go for the Night Slash, almost taking me out. I'm going to go for the Acrobatics, and that's going to be enough to take out the Samurott. So obviously I had the scope lens to get those crits on Fury Cutter, which is interesting. So now we have the Jinx coming back in. So I thought, well, I could go for the Acrobatics against this thing. I could swap out. I was a little bit, I was low-key worried about Lick. So swapping in my Farfetch, expecting the Lick, but it's going to use Heart Stamp instead. Damn. So our Heart Stamp does some pretty good damage to my Farfetch. It's about a 3-hit KO. So now it's going to go for yet another Heart Stamp. The only thing I was worried about was a flinch from this thing because it's like quite a scummy move. Going for the Acrobatics from Farfetch, and this will do a lot of damage. And it lives again, man. That max health, max defense, Jinx. Oh, man. I can't believe this. This Jinx has trolled me so much this entire game. So now, swapping back in the Behemoth, it's going to go for a Heart Stamp again. Now, I'm sure big, bad, bustling Behemoth can live a lick. I was hoping it could. So now, Jinx is going to actually get withdrawn from the battle, and we have the Gluttony coming out, which is the Victory Bell. Now, watch this, people. Watch this shit. So, setting up the Trick Room, I was like, this is good. Now, I know this is going to have some sort of berry of some sort, so I thought, I could use Embargo right. Stop the activation of the berry and then go for an attack. So going for Embargo, locking up that, I love that animation, it looks so cool. It kind of looks like Fairy Lock, which is another very, like, this move you never see. Fairy Lock has all these, like, pink chains, but they come, like, all across the screen. Looks really, really cool and badass. So going for I went for the Embargo, which actually stopped the activation of the berry, almost taking out the Victory Bell. Now, Victory Bell is going to go for the stockpile. Now, Victory Bell would have been a lot more bulky, but the Gluttony, I think it was like Agwave Bear or something, didn't kick in. So Embargo actually comes in handy at stopping the opponent's item and taking out. So I was very happy I got to use Embargo and get some use out of it and like actually make it viable. So there's 2 more Pokemon left, so we have this Vaporeon again. So I thought, at least I can get some Psychics off against this thing. That'd be good, right? However, I'm going to swap out Behemoth and go into Farfetch. I thought that'd be a good idea. So it's going to go for the Toxic on Farfetch, which is fine. So I can either go for the Acrobatics against this and try and get some damage off and try and take this out. Now, Drifloon does have Destiny Bond. I was half thinking, you know, if I can like keep it in and go for the Destiny Bond, I'll be able to take it out because currently none of my Pokemon have enough firepower to actually take this out. Behemoth maybe with a Psychic. It'd probably need like a 2-hit KO. So swapping in my Drifloon anyway. Now Drifloon was on 77 health, I think. You know, it should just be enough to take it out if it does go for Scald. I'm hoping it goes for Scald, not like Toxic again. Thank goodness the Vaporeon goes for the Scald, and that's probably just going to be enough to take out my Drifloon, burying me, but that's going to bury the Vaporeon too. So the last Pokemon, people, is the Jinx, and I've got the Behemoth left. So the Jinx, the max health, max defense Jinx, I think it was on like 1 health. It was same as last time. The Jinx was on like 1 health, so it's going to swap out. It's only got a little bit of health left, as we know. So now I can go for the Signal Beam. It's going to go for a lick against me. I knew that it would. It licks my Alien, and I get the Paralyzed, but I've got this the Synchronize, which is actually going to paralyze the Jinx too, which is hilarious. And I'm actually going to get through the Paralyze and take the Jinx out with the Signal Beam. And man, that one is game. I hope you guys enjoyed both these battles. This team was so creative and fun to use. Peace out.